and the pictures of the women, and the better they look and the sexier they look, it sells magazines and it gets people's attention, and sells newspapers, and the TV guys, they come in on it, and so everybody gets fixated by it.
Did you come in on it when you were senator or when you ran Nassau County?
Now, the fact that these stupidos were taken in, and I'm talking about the whole group of them, down in Florida by the Kelly girls, that's rather interesting. I find that interesting, that this nut, could take in the whole world. Her and her husband are throwing these fancy parties. They owe millions of dollars. They're in bankruptcy. And the fact that they get a general and Petraeus to send letters on behalf of one of the nuts, on behalf of her sister, that's saying that she should keep the mama. It's poor judgment on their part that they would use. That's what I find offensive.
All right. I remember when I was in the Army, and, well, I guess the statute of limitations is up, so I'll tell you the story. Once in a while, I used to call duty that was called KP, Kitchen Police. I believe now that's all done by private contractors, but back in those days, soldiers had to, clean up the kitchen, and the kitchens were inspected by these really hard-ass guys, and if there was a speck or a little dab of grease on the floor or anything, and he found it, they had to do everything over again. So you know that me, just like anyone else, I was interested in making that particular job that I had in the Army every once in a while, and I had it more than my share for a lot of reasons that I'll go into at some point. Look for an easy way out. And as it turned out, in some of these locations where I had been stationed from time to time, I'm not boasting, and it's not a boast, that I was probably among the more literate and well-spoken individuals of the lower ranks who pulled kitchen police. So the mess sergeants, that is, the sergeants who ran the kitchens and who were in charge of the cooking and making sure that everything got cleaned before the warrant officer would inspect it and throw everything up in the air because he found a spot of dirt or a dab of grease. They usually, in every location that I was aware of, they would have a little racket. And they would, I don't know if they sold the Army's food or they just kept it for themselves. It couldn't be that they kept it for themselves, because they would go, these guys, they would go off in their private-owned vehicles with pounds and pounds and pounds of food. I mean, a lot of food. And how did they do that? They would ask, it was kind of like, I got an offer you can't refuse. Sign the mess register. Most companies, battalions, brigades, we're talking about the barracks army, not the field army. I was a barracks soldier, okay? They had this little trip called, it's kind of like a guest book. And whatever military personnel were passing through for whatever reason could go eat in the mess hall, and they had to sign a register, a book. So I would be asked from time to time when I pulled this duty to just make up lots of names, sign them in different kinds of handwriting, and fill the book with names. And that way, the mess sergeants could justify the food that was passing through the kitchen. and I would have like Walter Ulbricht, Nikita Khrushchev, Fidel Castro, Enver Hoxha, Andrew Dean Stapp, all these folks who you would expect signing for food at in the military, and it was one of the more amusing and lighthearted aspects of my military, my 1 year, 11-month and 29-day military career.